this video we're going to look at integration. Now integration is the reverse process of differentiation. So just like subtracting is the opposite of adding or multiplying is the opposite of dividing, integration is the opposite of differentiation. Okay, we're going to look at indefinite integration first. So to integrate, ensure the variable is written in index form. So what I mean by this, if you had 1 over x squared, that is not an index form. You would have to write that as x to the minus 2 before you can integrate. And then to integrate, what you do is you raise the power by 1 and you divide by the new power. So that's really what we're going to do for this. I want you to add that into your notes, and I'll add that in now. So raise the power by 1 and divide by the new power. But here, what we have is you have x to the power of n. The power of the x then goes up to n plus 1, and you're dividing by the new power. So you're dividing by n plus 1, which is the same as multiplying by 1 over n plus 1. We also have got this plus c. Now this plus c is what's called the constant of integration. Now we're going to look at why that is. So here if you have x squared plus 2x plus 1, or that's one function, if you differentiated that function, what you would get would be 2x plus 2. If you had x squared plus 2x plus 2, if you differentiated that function, what you would get would be 2x plus 2. And if you had x squared plus 2x plus 3, if you differentiate that function, you get 2x plus 2. And if you had x squared plus 2x plus 4, if you differentiate that function, you'd get 2x plus 2. That means if you integrated 2x plus 2, you would get x squared plus 2x plus some unknown constant. So we don't know what that is. You would have to be given a wee bit more information to find that out. So how we've got that, first of all, raise the power of this. The power of this x here is 1. So raise that by 1, you get 2. And then divide by 2, you're going to have 2x squared divided by 2, which is just x squared. Likewise, this 2 and this 2 really is equal to 2 to the power of 0. So if you integrate 2 to the power of 0 with respect to x, it goes up to 2x to the power of 1 divided by 1, which is equal to 2x plus c, your constant of integration. So that's really where that comes from. Really, you just need to learn, if you integrate just a number, you will get that number times x. So for example, if I'll squeeze that on here, if I integrated 7 with respect to x, I've got 7x, and then you must always remember your plus c, which is your constant of integration. Okay, I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to write in how another wee way to, we've got it here, increase the power by 1 and divide by the new power. So we'll just highlight that. So increase the power by 1 and then divide by the new power. Okay, I've highlighted. Okay, first example, A, we have got integrate with respect to x, and it's 4x. So you have your integration sign, your x, and the dx. So what that means, this means integrate 4x with respect to x, and you must have all of these bits are essential, the integration sign, what you're integrating, and what you're integrating with respect to. And to do this, if you integrate 4x, I'm going to show all my steps here. The power of that x is 1, so you raise the power by 1, it goes up to 2, and you divide by new power, plus your constant of integration. Now, when you get a wee bit better at these, you'll just be skipping out that first step and jumping to 2x squared plus c. For part B, we've got the integral of 6x plus 9x squared dx. I'll work down the page for this one. Raise the power of the x by 1, it's going to be 6x squared divided by 2, plus that's going to be 9x cubed divided by 3, plus your constant of integration, and then again tidy up, that's going to be 3x squared plus 3x cubed plus c. Okay, part C, you've got to integrate 7 with respect to x. Now that really is the same as 7 times x to the power of 0. And raise the power of that by 1, that's going to be 7x to the power of 1 over 1 plus c. And of course that's just the same as 7x plus c. Now really folks, what you want to just write down, you want to skip from this step to this step once you get good. So I mentioned this earlier on, when you're integrating a constant, your answer is just going to be the constant times x. So for example here we're integrating 7, you would get 7x plus c. Had that been 105, you would get 105x plus c. And our last one for this example, part D, the first thing we've got to do is to rewrite this thing in index form. So it's not in index form. So I'm going to say that is 3 times x to the minus 2 minus 2 dx, and then we can go on and integrate this. So your same rules apply. Raise the power by 1, it becomes 4x cubed over 3. Now this is where people go wrong sometimes. Your power here is x to the minus 2. Minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1, so that's x to the minus 1. And you're dividing by your minus 1, and then that becomes minus 2x plus c. Now I have a wee bit of work to do here. That's going to be 4x cubed over 3. Then you've got minus 3 divided by plus 3 divided by minus 1. So that's just going to be minus 3. And I'm going to put this in a bracket. This is my x to the minus 1. X to the minus 1 is 1 over x. Then minus 2x plus c. And then again, that's going to be 4x cubed over 3. Then minus 3 times the 1 is just going to be minus 3 on the top. X on the bottom line. And minus 2x plus c. Now this line here, again, once you get a wee bit better at these, you'll probably skip from here to here, but the indices changing from negative index form to this sort of form is what people quite often have trouble with. So I've just broken that up for you here. So just go through that again. Here, once we get to this stage, 3 divided by minus 1 is minus 3. And then x to the minus 1 looks like 1 over x. And then when you multiply, minus 3 multiplies on the top. So minus 3 times 1 is minus 3. And you still get your x on your bottom line. Okay, a couple more trickier ones here. So for a, I've got my integral of 3x to the minus 3 plus 5x dx. So if I integrate this one, it's going to be 3x minus 3. If you add 1 to minus 3, I should say you get minus 2, and then divide by minus 2. Plus that's going to be just 5x squared over 2 plus c. And then we're going to look at this one. So again, I'm going to separate this thing out. That really is the same as 3 divided by minus 2. Leave it as minus 3 over 2. And x to the minus 2 is 1 over x squared plus 5x squared over 2. Apologies, don't know what happened there. And we'll just tie that up again. That's going to be minus 3 over 2. So then your x to the minus 2 is the same as 1 over x squared. And this next bit is sorted. We can't do anything with it. But here we can tidy this up. And this is why it's nice just to leave the minus 3 over 2 instead of leaving it as a top-heavy fraction. Because the minus 3 just multiplies up on the top to give you minus 3 on the top, and then 2x squared on the bottom line. So that's a nicer way of doing it. You could argue that it's fine just to leave it as this. Now, the reason you could argue that it would be okay to do this is they have given you it in the ugly form where you've got the negative indice here. So you could argue this is absolutely fine. It is just a nicer way of writing it really this way. So I would just judge this based on how many marks are for the question. Okay, part B we'll have a look at now. Okay, first thing we've got to do in part B is multiply out these brackets. So this is me still working. I haven't integrated, so I've still got my integration sign. So I haven't integrated, so I've still got my integration sign. I'll just write that out again. And here we're just going to multiply this out. So I'm going to just leave the x where it is, multiply out inside the bracket first. So that's going to give me 3x minus 6 plus 5x squared minus 10x. And good practice, folks, you could multiply it as stays. Tidy up first before you do any multiplying out. That's going to give you 5x squared minus 7x minus 6. Still haven't integrated, so we've still got our integration sign and our dx. Now multiplying by the x, you'll have 5x cubed minus 7x squared minus 6x, and we're good to integrate. So integrating, remember you raise the power by 1 and you divide by the new power, so it's going to be 5x to the 4 over 4 minus 7x cubed over 3. That's going to be minus 6x squared over 2, and remember your constant of integration. Have a look and see if there's anything you can tidy up. I don't think there's much, just one term. So we've got 5x to the 4 over 4 minus 7x cubed over 3 minus 3x squared plus c. So that's our first thing in integration. This is called indefinite integration. We'll see what that means compared to the other version in a wee minute. But here you're now ready to do exercise 9A from your CCA question book.